I'm captivated. I'm captivated. I'm captivated.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Tea Time with Afternoon Social. Today is Try It Thursdays and we've had a wonderful special guest on this week. Sharon Niemi with Your Way Wellness. She's been with us here all week talking about Ayurveda. She's an Ayurveda practitioner and healthy longevity engineer. Go back and check out the other videos this week. She's had some fantastic information about health and how we can get through menopause and other things with this Ayurveda. But today it's going to be kind of fun. She's going to teach us a little bit about how to make our own infused oils, which will lead us for tomorrow's video. So we'll talk about that here after a bit too. So thank you again for joining us, Sharon. And I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm excited to hear about oils. We've heard a lot about essential oils and how they help with the health. And so this is going to be fun to learn how to make them on our own. So
yeah, thank you. Well, we're not going to I'll bring up my diffuser to make the essential oils on our own, but I will be talking about how to take some oils that already exist and what to do, how to make them and blend them together so that you have the right oil for tomorrow when we learn how the best way to use the oil. So,
fantastic.
You know, it's like I said in the previous on Wednesday, was that, oil, anything is an excellent carrier. It's transdermal to absorb any herbal medication through the skin, and especially for those who do not like to take any pills or herbs. So there are 3 ways to make your own therapeutic body oil, but you can also make cooking oils. So you can So you can ingest, of course, with the herbs. We cook with herbs all the time, but so many shy away from using essential oils when we cook. As long as they're organic and pure, there is absolutely no reason why you can't also use them as part of your fancy things in the kitchen to use to spice up your food and so forth. So the 3 ways would be to get a base oil, and then you would either add the essential oils, or you would want to go out and get some fresh herbs, or you can, these were from my garden that I picked just the other day. This is some lavender. Or you can go to the stores, any natural supermarket, usually have bins. And if you go and look around, you're going to find all kinds of, this is chamomile, that you can add and infuse into your base oil. So there's that way. So just the essential oils, or you can use herbs. You can also use, this is my favorite, pomegranate.
Oh, okay.
It's astringent. So what you would use, so you can use fruit too, is you would use the peel. You peel the pomegranate and then drink the juice, but just use the external skin. So there's the fruit and the vegetables. Or you can use, the third way is to use a combination of them all. And I like using the combination because you get the different essence out of each one. And it all depends as well how much time I have to make. Essential oils are easy. You take a mason jar, fill it, put in some essential oils, and you're set to go, right? But with herbs and peeling the fruit, you would need time for it to set and distill. So again, it's all dependent on how quickly you want it and what you're going to use it for. So I just wanted to talk about the base oils that you would use for the different conditions. So there's so many really good oils to use on your skin, and a lot of people, growing up, I thought if I put oil on my skin, I was going to break out. But if you use the right oil for the right situation, it's a carrier for the medicinal purposes of the herbs that you're putting in. As well as in this day and time, putting oil on your skin gives you an added protective barrier to the germs and viruses and bacteria that you could be exposed to. So putting oil all over your skin, and I'm talking even up into your nostrils, in your ears, it's all a way for you to protect the body from the external threats that you can be exposed to, the toxins and everything on a daily basis. So anyway, so if you are dry, if you're very dry, if you tend to be nervous or anxious and you want to do something to calm, you've had like a couple of really bad weeks at work and you just need something to calm, the best oil to use is your heavier oils. So your sesame oil or your black sesame oil would be a really good choice. Almond oil would do the trick as well. So if nervous, anxious, dry, grab some sesame oil. If you want to stimulate and invigorate, you have been sitting a lot, you just want to, you've been feeling this time of year and in the fall when we're getting shorter days, just don't feel like doing so much and you just want to invigorate yourself, then what you would use is a mustard oil or a sunflower oil. Those are very heating and invigorating. And then if you have heat, and this is where we talk the heat, the inflammation, the achy joints, any skin condition that is heat-induced, skin rashes, eczema, psoriasis, what you would want to do then is use cooling oils. And we think of cooling oils as coconut oil, grapeseed oil, or sunflower oil is also a little cooling, but coconut oil first, grapeseed oil second. So those would be considered carrier oils. Now for like a general all-around skin base, I usually do a combination of a coconut oil with some sweet almond oil, and then I have some vitamin E and jojoba. And that is just very nourishing to the skin. And I will give you all those recipes too.
Right. Okay.
So you can post, all right? So, so once you pick what base oil that you want to use, and if you are using essential oils, all you need to do is take a cup of that oil, put it in a mason jar, and then add 20 to 30 drops of oil, of essential oil. And I have a whole list that I'll provide to you and your listeners around what we would consider tridoshic, which are good for everyone. And that's like jasmine and rose and sandalwood, very cooling. If you want something heating, that would be ginger and pipali, which is a black pepper, that you would put into the oil. And frankincense is another really, really good antibacterial essential oil. So you just add the drops of water, shake up your jar, and you'd be good to go. But for those who are going to use the herbs, then I have different recipes. Quickly, 3 different approaches for the 3 different types. So if you're going to use your black sesame oil for your nervous, your calming situations, what you want to do is take a cup of that pure that sesame oil and combine it with a half a cup of any herb, basil, clove, turmeric, and ginger. Those are some really good ones. Or clary sage is another one. So anything like that. So what you would do is get a cup of the oil, a half a cup of your herb, and then what you would do was you'd get a pan and you'd heat that oil till just about boiling. Then you would, just till you start seeing bubbles, and then you toss in your herb, just without, I use a cheesecloth when I do my fruits. using any type of skin. But for my herbs, I just throw them right into the pot. And as soon as the herbs go into the pot, mix them around, throw a cover on the pot, take it off the heat, and let it set for a day. And that will diffuse your oil, the herbs into the oil. Then you want to take a cheesecloth strainer and just strain out the herbs and put them into a jar with probably a pump. I use a pump jar, and then a cap so I can just pump out the oil, and then that's ready for use there after a day. You would do the same thing for your invigorating herbal oil. But you'd want to use your mustard oil or your sunflower oil, and then you would add the same thing, ginger, turmeric, cloves, or basil. But you have a different base oil and do the same thing. Bring the oil to boiling, throw in your herbs, cover it, and the next day. For the inflammation oils, they become a little more complicated because we use more flour-based. They're more fragile to cook. So those would be your lavenders, your roses, your hibiscus, those type of delicate flowers. So what we do is we decoct them first. And decoct, all it means is pull the essence out of the plant through water extraction.
Okay.
So we would have an extra step in front of that, and we would take, again, a cup of the oil, so the coconut oil or the grapeseed oil, and that would be after. What you would do is take a cup of water, put the water in the pan, put the flowers in the pan, and then just keep it on a very low boil, almost like an evaporation, until you have half the water gone. And that usually takes about an hour. Then you set that aside, the water aside, then you take your oil, so your grapeseed oil or your coconut oil, and you put you blend the water and the oil, and then you heat that up again to a slight boil, and then you let that boil until all the water is gone. And what that does is infuses the essence of the plant, the herb that was in the water, into the oil. So it's a little extra work,
Right.
But well worth it. Ayurveda says the more you can do yourself, like the more you cook and the more you bring into your body or do for your body yourself, the better off. But there are medicated herbal oils that you can buy that I absolutely love, and I will tell my clients that that's as appropriate. And Life Spa, Mountain Rose Herbs, Rocky Mountain Oils, they all have blended herbal oils that you can use. But once you do a batch or two, you realize it's really not that it seems, as I'm talking about it, it sounds to me even, I have all those steps, but no, right. You get your mason jar, you get your oil, you get your herbs, right. You heat your oil, you throw your herbs in, you close the cover, and you wait, and you got a day, and there you go. The other one, yes, you have to decoct with the water to pull out the essence, but it's so well worth it because you have, as in Ayurveda, the more processed and natural, the better the effects.
Right. Exactly. And knowing reputable companies and things like that, like you said, when you're making them yourself, all natural, you know what's in it, you know how it's been processed because you did it. and so
you bought the stuff. Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot of times it is a lot healthier to do it all natural and do it yourself. And I was thinking, I'm like, this is like just making soup, putting soup on the stove and letting it sit. And so it doesn't It may sound complicated, but I don't think it's that difficult. And I think that it would be an easy way to make your own, and which also helps with your financial budget too, because a lot of these oils are really expensive.
Very expensive when you have the herbal elixirs, right, that they are doing them, so that are specialty shops, that they can become, $100 and $200 for this little bottle. And in Ayurveda, what we say, the more oil you can put on your body, head to toe, which we will talk about tomorrow, the better. Right. So spending that much money on that little oil is not really cost effective. And Ayurveda is all about making it available and useful for everybody. That's why, I just go out and we just buy this huge bottle of oil, and it's, $6 for this huge bottle of oil. And then you go off and you buy $1 worth of herbs, or pick them from your garden.
Right.
And, and there are so many different herbs that you can use depending on your condition that you're trying to treat, that are available in dried forms and in bins these days, that it just makes it very simple to take that little bit of time to make some yourself if you plan on really using it.
Right. I'm going to back up for a minute. You said using the peel and the skin on fruit, like pomegranate, and I was thinking about wondering how well a juicer works. When the juicer, do you want just the skin or even the pulp from the fruit? When a juicer separates and takes the juice out, then leaves you all your extras separate from the fruit, can that extra be used as well? Or do you want to just stick with the skin?
So we just stick with the skin because we're looking for the essence from the peel. And the essence from a pomegranate, this is why I use it in my facial oil, is astringent. And astringent is pulling. So if you're looking, right, to really work on your skin, when you put that on, it does have, when it dries, it has that pulling effect to it. So that's why the astringency of the pomegranate works really great. And it is the external skin, because the internal is a different quality. There's coolness, which is a good thing. A lot of times I put some of the juice in the oil too and let it boil out, but for the most part, just the skin.
Okay, that's great to know. And
there's more stringency.
And I think we're running a little short of time, and this is very fascinating. And I would like you, I'm going to include all of her contact information, and we're going to put the recipes out there on the post so that you can contact Sharon and get to know her more and learn more about Ayurveda from her and how you can do these oils. And tomorrow is going to be our fun day, Friday, and we're going to do spa day, and she's going to show us what we can do after we've made these oils and what it's what we all like to have as a true spa day and what we can do for it at home. And so tune in tomorrow, and like as always, go back and watch all the other videos. She's had some fantastic information this week. So thank you for joining us, Sharon, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Ms. Teresa.
I'm captivated.